Hey guys, you're watching Daniel and Gian Talk Shit episode Who Knows, because we haven't put one of these out in a while. Daniel still ain't putting anything up on
Technically
iTunes
it's 75.
either.
Technically
Okay,
it's 75.
75, the 75th anniversary out there. I know it's a lot of stuff's happening lately. You know, nothing, I guess, nothing crazy. We're at this point of the year.
Nothing crazy.
I mean, well, crazy stuff.
I don't know what planet
I
you're
don't
living
know.
on.
Nothing you get excited about. But
No, I don't care. That's the thing.
yeah, Daniel the nihilist who doesn't do anything, so he's not much of a nihilist at all.
No, I mean I'm saying like you can get crazy about, you can talk about how Trump's crazy.
Who's
blah,
a
blah,
person that's apathetic? Like, is there a word for that? Like, you're an apathist? Is that a thing? Is that a word, Carlos? Look that up.
I shouldn't say I don't care. I just tend to not put my focus and energy into things that I have no control over.
You know, we were talking about this the other day, but is getting yourself so stressed out that you do nothing a form of OCD? You ever thought about that?
Yeah, I guess that's
You
what I
know?
do, because that's me.
Like, some people that get obsessed and they got to do everything and they stress themselves out, and people drink, and then like other people.
I don't drink, but
you, for example, like you're like get stressed out and you're like, I just don't do anything at all. That was weird.
if I
Yeah,
do
okay.
anything, just ignore it.
It sounds better now.
I know.
I did for a second, anyways. But yeah, man. Louis C.K. came back last night.
It's Louis C.K.
Louis.
Yeah, he came back.
Louis
I personally think I think he came back too early, but as we expected, there was going to be a firestorm. You got people saying he shouldn't be back. He shouldn't be allowed back. How can he be such this huge sex offender? And then
There's people already talking about boycotting any clubs.
but
that
then
he
you have New York
performs at.
Times saying like, "Welcome back." It's
The audience was happy about him, except for one person in the
Before we get
audience.
into that, if you were in that audience and Louis C.K. walked in, what would your response be? Let's both share that, and then we'll get into like the how would you react?
I'd be like, "Whoa, Louis here."
But would you be like,
I'd be excited. I've never seen Louis live before in person, so I'd probably be a little excited.
so you wouldn't like want to leave or
No.
like throw something at him? Or,
No, and I mean it's weird. Like I understand where people are coming from, but then I don't know. We're getting to this point now where we're trying to lump everybody into the same category, and then at the same time you got to be careful with what you say, because you might be justifying what he did as if it's okay, like, you know, and we're putting degrees on stuff like, well, you know, the only thing he did was jerk off in front of a couple people that didn't want to be jerked off in
Well,
front
hold
of.
on. Before we get into that, I just wanted to know, like, so you would just sit there and enjoy it? You'd laugh if it was funny?
I would probably laugh. Yeah, I don't think I'd get him comfortable. No.
Because for me, I would be excited. I'd want to see it. I have paid for Louis. I paid $80 to see Louis, as a matter of fact. As
Right.
a matter of fact, it was $150 to see Louis, but that's neither here nor there. I still think he came back too early. I do want to touch upon one thing, though, because you're like, you don't know how it's going to be. If you say, like, oh, it's just masturbating, whatever, like, you can all get... Because of Prophet Joe Rogan, I was listening to his podcast, and he was talking about how... And I looked this up. I never heard about this, but there's a NASCAR driver.
Say it again. You called him Prophet Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Prophet Joe. He's a prophet, but that's neither here nor
Does
there.
anybody else but you call him that?
I'll start it. You heard it here first.
You're gonna hashtag it.
Hashtag Prophet Joe. That's fine. There's a NASCAR driver who lost sponsorships. You can bring this one up, Carlos. Lost sponsorships because of something his father said 30 plus years ago, because he was dropping N-bombs. So the son is being held accountable for the words of the father. So we're gonna talk about Louis C.K., but you brought that up because now I'm thinking like, fuck, man, I don't have kids. You have kids. You might be fucking your kid up right now by talking.
Well, the irony of that situation for me is that Donald Trump's dad was a known member of the KKK.
And he's the president of the United States.
He's the president of the United States, and it hasn't seemed to affect anybody.
Do you think that's fair? To be held accountable for the sins of your father?
I think
So,
that's
okay.
a bit ridiculous.
So then, if that's the case, why do you feel like white privilege exists? Or like people being held to, like white people being held accountable for like slavery or things like that?
Well, I've never said that.
I'm not asked. I'm saying, why do you think that's the case? Because I feel like most sane people would agree that if your dad said something, and as long as you're not saying the same things, as long as you are not following in his footsteps, you know, you should be fresh slate, right?
Right.
But that obviously isn't 100% true because reparations and stuff. Is that because society has been built around that, so it's different?
I mean, people are trying to use it as a societal thing, and I mean, there's the white privilege thing in itself is something completely different, I think.
Not to say that I'm championing that you should just let bygones be bygones, but at a certain point, bygones do have to become bygones. They do have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to move on at some
absolutely.
point.
Well, I talked to you about this the other day with South Africa. Like, South Africans colonized and stole the land from the natives there, and they own, like, the white people or the minority in the country, and they own the majority of the farmlands.
And now they're getting kicked out.
And now the government's coming back and taking their land back, and some people have an issue with that. And I'm like, that one I don't have as much of an issue with. It's like, well, they're just doing the same thing that you did to them earlier in the
circle of life.
Yeah, it's a circle of life. But I mean, I think like your dad said some stuff. I don't think he shouldn't be losing sponsorships over. If he hasn't said anything, if he hasn't, like, how did that even happen? Why did people investigate him? Like,
I have
did
no
he
idea.
do something?
But I mean, people just digging now.
Right.
I mean, they want to dig for everything.
Right.
You have James Gunn. You have those baseball players.
I'll tell you what, though, I do lightweight, like, am considering deleting my Twitter and starting a whole new one, just in case.
Now you just let people know.
Now people are going to go screenshot.
You fucked up. No, I mean, but see, I don't know. I stand by anything I've said on Twitter. And that's the thing. If I've said something bad when I was, fucking 4 or 5 years ago, I will say, yeah, I said that, and maybe I don't feel that way. And I don't see what the fuck's wrong with saying that. I just don't get it. I don't understand. We all fucking change. We all change.
No, I'm absolutely with you that. Like, I think that's, like, some of these football players and baseball players, like, they said stupid stuff when they were kids.
But they still could be racist now,
They still could be. Well, that's the thing is, like, one guy, Josh Allen, he's a rookie quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. He was basically quoting rap lyrics, I think. I mean, I think we talked.
And then it depends on where you grew up with.
Yeah,
and who you grew up with.
I mean, there's the context involved.
Because Eminem is allowed to say whatever the fuck he wants.
I feel like he's never said. He's been like, he knows better though. Like,
but,
I think he was that one white dude. He was the white boy that got checked. If he like.
But if he did. Maybe not in today's day and age, but if he did say what he wanted to say,
he'd get more of a pass. Yeah.
You wouldn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't start calling him a racist.
No.
You might be like, hey, hold up there, but he's earned that status to be whatever you want to call him, a rap god or whatever. Accepted him in the community.
Gets like black people like to say, he's invited to the cookout.
He gets a pass. But back to Louis. I think he came back too early. I think we were just talking about him coming. Like, there's no shock that he wasn't going to come back.
That's the one thing
He didn't touch upon any of this, by the way, in his act.
Well, it was people. He just popped by a comedy club and decided to do a surprise.
It wasn't just a comedy club. It was the Comedy Cellar, which is basically his home away from home.
That's just like Rogan at the Comedy Store.
I know, but I'm just saying it's not. It wasn't just a random.
That's like when Chappelle pops into the Comedy Store.
I understand, but the Cellar's like his.
I think it was unannounced. I don't think anyone was like, he was trying to kind of going incog. Well, somebody brought up a good point. Like, it was from the same article as well. Like, one of the patrons would have liked to know that he was going to be there so that he could decide if he wanted to stay or not. And I that's fine. And I think he should have announced it.
But even then, that's why I asked you what would you have done? Because
that's me though.
You can fucking get up and leave and ask for a refund right on the spot.
I mean, we can get into let's just get into the situation itself. How do you feel about what he did?
I think he just came back too early.
Okay, but what about what he got accused of? What he admitted to doing? How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's one of these fucking things where I like Louis. I'm not gonna fucking pretend I don't like Louis. Louis fucking funny. He's funny. At the time of him going away, there was no one better. No, he was the top. He was the standard. He's the best comedian.
Well, Bill Burr.
Okay, I'll give you that. But you're talking about fucking what's better, Godfather or Godfather Part 2. I mean, it's like literally like you could make an argument for both. What's better, Godfather, Goodfellas? Like, fucking, they're right there.
Right.
You can
They're in the same conversation.
Yeah. It's just. So, my thing is, yeah, that shit happened. He copped to it. He should have copped to it earlier. He could have copped to it earlier. I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what happened. I've heard different stories from different articles about what happened, and that doesn't excuse any of it. That doesn't excuse any of it. His name's going to be tainted. Is that punishment enough? No, I'm not saying that. But what is the proper punishment? Is he supposed to serve jail time?
No.
If he served jail time, would that be enough?
And I think that's what makes it makes it a complicated situation. Like from what I've read, the last accusation or last thing, anything that happened.
Plus, this was years ago.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the last thing that happened from what I've read, and I might be wrong, but the last thing the last person to come out and say anything, whatever happened, was back in 2005. So since 2005,
it's 13 years.
Yeah, nothing. He hasn't. It's kind of the James Gunn situation, but obviously it's worse. But 2005, nothing's happened since then. At least that from what I know of. I mean, this is me spitballing too. I haven't done enough research, but I went and looked this up last night because people. I'm in a comedy page on Facebook, and there's like people already up in arms, like we need to stop him from performing anywhere. And a few guys stood up, and they, you can't stand up in California. You got the SJWs going to come down your throat. You're going to lose that situation just because of the mob mentality.
If they announced he was going to be at the fucking Comedy Store tomorrow, I'd be there.
Well, that's not that's you.
I'm just saying.
But I think there's things you need to consider, and that's one of them. Like, if he hasn't done this, and then from the same articles that I read, he went and apologized to all these people before any of these accusations came out. It wasn't him trying to put out a fire. It was him like saying, you know what?
But he mishandled the situation.
He absolutely did.
They've asked him about this before, and he denied it.
Right.
And then until he basically, and then even his own admission, he didn't really acknowledge it. It was kind of like this semi, like, yeah, but there was other factors, and he was making jokes of it. Look,
there's a part of it where there's one of the conversations that he had with one of the accusers. She said that in the phone call, he said, like, I read the situation wrong. This is what he said. Is that a defense? Does it make it okay what he did? No, but it does question the scenario.
It's not black and white.
No, it's definitely not black and white.
That's the biggest takeaway. It's not black and white.
And I guess my biggest problem with the whole thing is, like, people are trying to lump him in with the Harvey Weinsteins,
Bill Cosby,
with the Bill Cosbys of the world, and it's like, and that's where it's like, I don't know what to say to that.
Well, the article I read, I don't know if it was Variety or some piece, and it was all about, well, welcome. This is going to be the MeToo comeback year, because it mentioned Louis coming back, being accepted and by the New York Times, and it also mentioned what's his name? Aziz doing comedy. And then I'm like, right off the bat, I'm like,
you're lumping in Aziz.
He didn't even do anything.
Right.
He had a bad date.
And I thought that already blew over because there was plenty of women coming out and defending him.
And then they brought in Chris Hardwick too in the
same
article.
Right, exactly. Like everyone's getting lumped in, and there's people on the same page talking shit. Oh, Aziz is performing, and I don't know how I feel comfortable. And I'm like, and then at a certain point, I'm like, I'm just gonna back off because I'm gonna say something, and like with these, like, it's just gonna turn into a shitstorm, and I don't want it to like come back on me later. But you can't lump them in together.
Bill Cosby was still performing prior to him like fucking getting convicted.
People are still showing up to the shows. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. We live in America. This is 100% a free country.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we believe in. That's why we love this country. The freedom of speech, all this stuff, right?
Date rape.
But hold on. Does that extend to him being allowed to perform in a club that allows him to? Should society ban him from things? Or if the Comedy Cellar, if the Comedy Store says, you know what? We're just a hub. We're going to let him in there. Should you shun these places?
No, I think...
should he never be allowed to perform comedy anywhere? In a free country?
No, he shouldn't. I think that's the part of the freedom aspect that people need to... If you don't want him to perform...
Don't go to the show.
Don't show up.
You can boycott. Stand outside.
If you want to protest,
Protest.
And you want to protest the people that are going to the show, like, shame them. That's
just
fine.
Just like with the KKK.
But if we could shame people for going to a Bill Cosby show, we should be able to fat shame people without...
Well, we sure do have a lot of fat people that should... I mean, Louis is one of them. So, no, but, it's one of these things where it's like, what he did was wrong. I don't think anyone's defending that. I don't think you or I have ever said, like, meh. But, okay, he admitted to it. I still think he came back too early.
Yeah.
But it's like, so never again? How old's Louis? He's late 40s? maybe
late 40s, early 50s. Yeah. How old's Louis?
So he should be dead? Like, that's it? He should just die now?
That's what
you
some
just
people,
fucking go kill him?
That's the world we live in right now.
I mean, it's like literally,
that's what
would
people want.
if he fucking just blew his brains out, if he walked on stage and pulled a gun out and shot himself in the head, is that the best course of action? Like, I'm genuinely curious. What do you do with these people?
It's funny. There was a guy in this thread that I was talking about where he brought that up. He's like, so when is enough time? What should be done? Do you want him to... Should he die?
That's literally what. I mean, what is it?
And then people like danced around that and brought up this other stuff.
Don't dance around it. It's just what do you want him to die?
Yeah,
he's 50.
He's 50. Okay, so he's white. So I'm gonna assume he has at least 20 plus years left, right?
Maybe. Depending on the stress of this current situation.
But should he just kill himself? Is that the option? Should Louis die? Like, if someone murdered him, should we applaud it?
It comes back to
like, what is his punishment?
It comes back to that conversation we had about pedophiles. Like, should pedophiles die? Should we just kill pedophiles?
But it's the thing.
And is that what he did on the same level?
Is it their fault, pedophiles?
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm saying is like, because we talked about this in an earlier show about how one of the brain scientists, I forgot who it was saying that in 20 years, the development that he feels like is going to happen is we're going to come to a point in time where
there's going to potentially be a
pedophile gene or whatever that they're going to be able to fix potentially.
Or a cure for it.
Whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Because it's like we always say, you know, if it's a pedophile and they haven't acted on it, are they still a pedophile?
Right. Well, there was Chris Boss Curry sent us an article about someone who got elected who's came out and said he's a pedophile,
and that guy should not be in the office.
And he's also like bragged about raping his wife on Twitter.
That
and
guy,
stuff.
and this is an American politician,
yeah,
right?
And he got elected.
And I don't see this is how fucked up this country is,
right?
And people will probably
Can you find that article for us actually about a pedophile gets elected.
And the guy's probably the people who watch this are probably gonna say, it's people like you, me, who get people like that elected because you support Louis C.K. You're the ones who will go out and he's doing this to women and what, but it's just like, I'm not fucking. If he went to a court judge, if he were brought to trial and the judge sentenced him to 10 years or whatever it might be, I'd say okay, yeah, you shouldn't have fucking done that.
Right.
If the punishment fits the crime, serve your time,
right.
Do your thing. I'm not gonna be there, free Louis. No, you fucked up. Get punished for it. But that doesn't mean that if you serve that time, that you should be shunned from society.
Right. I mean, that's every crime in general. If you serve your time.
Because like Bill Cosby should never see the light of day. He should be in there for the rest of his life. And so him dying in prison is him serving his time.
Right.
So because you did that fucked up of a severe... Harvey Weinstein should probably spend, and he's not going to, but he should spend the rest of his days behind bars.
Right.
Period. Because you did so much fucked up shit that's built up over time that's the punishment you get, and you shouldn't have done all that shit because you thought you can get away with it. It was in your contract. You could pay people off that you fucked over and all this stuff. Yeah. And if he got sentenced for fucking 30, 40 years, good. I will not sit there and champion him.
Right.
Despite the fact that I love the movies that he produces. We both do. So many people love the movies that he's produces. He's won fucking tons of Oscars for them. We can't sit here and pretend that Pulp Fiction and anything Tarantino's done hasn't been inspirational to us as filmmakers, as artists, as human beings.
Kevin Smith's movies made.
Kevin Smith. You know. I mean, the Shakespeare in Love won an Oscar. I mean, the list goes on. Fucking the Robin Williams movie with Matt Damon, it got literally started careers. Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Are we gonna throw that away? No, we can't. But that doesn't mean what he did shouldn't go unpunished. That's why I'm saying Louis should be punished.
Well, look at here's an example of it. O.J. Simpson won a national championship at USC, won a Heisman Trophy at USC. There's no mention of O.J. anywhere at USC. Anywhere. You can't. There's no pictures of him. There's no numbers. Here's an article. Nathan Larson backs Wexton after dropping his... Okay, Wexton declines... So who's the guy? Wexton is the guy that's...
The guy's Larson. It seems like he dropped out of the race. So
after it found out. After people.
All this shit, yeah.
Oh, well. There you go. Good.
I'm
glad that... Yeah. See, but this is where society comes into play.
Yeah, we're not ready for a guy who admits to be a pedophile but says he doesn't act on his, you know...
But I'm just saying, though, it's like, if the punishment... Should he be punished? I think so.
Right.
But was his crime severe enough for him to literally just
Lose his life.
forever?
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's like this argument that we always talk about. We always say,
I mean, is
like the dude the Birth of a Nation,
is jerking off, let me ask you, like, we're going to get into this, like, mansplaining or whatever you want to call it about what rape is. And is all rape the same? You know, is it across the board the same thing? Is jerking off in front of someone who didn't want to be jerked off in front of rape? I don't think it's.
I think so.
I don't think it's considered rape as a crime. Actually, that it's.
Well, but I think
exposure.
that's what's fucked up about the situation. It's not what they wanted. That's what Harvey Weinstein was doing.
Well, no, but he actually got accused of raping people as well.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And I think there's a spectrum for this whole situation, and it's fucking tough because I'm not a judge. I don't study court of the laws. I don't know what the specifics are. I don't know what an actual crime is versus what is it actually not a crime.
Is my mic on?
It is on.
Okay.
Trust me, it's on.
I'm like picking up you.
It's on. Like it's on. It's on. Trust me, it's on.
All right.
It's but you know, it's like I don't know. But the thing is like I don't even care about discussing that because my thing is those are the facts of the situation. He's copped to them. But it's like, what do you do about it? That's my thing. What do you do about it? But it's fucking tough because it's people that I like. It's like Mel Gibson. I love Mel Gibson's movies. I love his movies. I love his fucking movies.
Well, yeah, but what Mel Gibson do? Was it as bad as what?
It depends, man. Beating your wife, fucking being a racist.
I mean, did he actually beat his wife? Was that confirmed? You know,
I'm pretty sure it was. But at least for the tapes where he was
and
verbally abusing her.
We got to go back to Bill Burr. Like, you know, you should never hit a woman, but that doesn't mean there's never.
No, because the world's not black and white.
Right.
And I think people.
I mean, there's scenarios involved that we can't. There's a certain point where you can't.
Brock Turner's black and white.
Yeah, that's black and white. Absolutely.
It's obvious.
That's an
there's no
obvious situation.
There's no because what makes it worse, and this is the argument against people like Louis C.K. He got off super light.
Yeah.
Super light. His dad started to plead. He's a star athlete. He's a this. He's a that.
Tried not to register as a sex offender. Like they went
all
and
this,
appealed
all this crap, right? And more often than not, I'm sure. I don't know the statistics, but I would assume more often than not, people get away with it.
Yeah.
Guys get away with it. They either circumvent the court system. They take a plea. They take a lesser crime charge. Whatever. I'm sure that shit all exists, and it fucking sucks. And there should be 100%. That's a reason to be outraged because things need to be fixed.
Right.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Not this. If you have enough money, you can get suspended sentences and
but that's what's going to happen to Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. If you think Harvey Weinstein is going to serve hard time, I think you're crazy.
It depends on the judge, though. There are judges out there who
I don't think he will.
They're not going to offer you anything.
I don't think he will. But it's just this. But it's like this thing. Should Louis? Because no criminal charges have been brought against him.
Right.
So.
Well, OJ was acquitted.
Yeah, but at least he went through trial.
Right.
He was also guilty in civil court. OJ was.
Right.
Louis wasn't at all. Why?
Well, they didn't try to. Nobody called the cops. They didn't try to press.
I know, but why?
Him.
So should you? So, because I know that there's also a thing with reporting. That's also, like people. It's tough. People just let it happen, and they don't want to go out and report it because they don't want to have society coming on their backs. And that was funny. That's not what I meant. Society like coming after them and like shunning them and putting them in a corner of like, oh, you're looking for sympathy or you're looking for this or what you're looking for money. Or even though Louis wasn't as big as he was in 2005, but still, there's definitely, and that's why the MeToo movement's so powerful because now. The tides have turned and it's completely reversed. That's why Chris Hardwick can go down.
Let me ask you something about the Me Too. If Louis wasn't who he is now, do you think these things come up?
Well, that's kind of where I was going with.
Like
this.
if he's still a staff writer, do you think we hear about any of this?
Well, that's where I was going with. That's my point. If they all talked privately, and they're all honest with each other, and they were like, you know what, it was a shitty situation, like. I'm going to hold it against you, whatever. It's awkward. It's probably never going to be the same, but it is what it is. Who are we to kind of go in and step in and say anything?
Right.
That's my thing. I don't know. It's all speculation. My thing, though, is I just think he was going to come back regardless. And so if you want to support him. And if you don't, you don't.
But we will agree that he came back at the wrong time and probably in the wrong way as well.
Yeah, he should have come back and addressed this shit. He shouldn't have just blown it off.
You know what he would have been a good way of coming back? He goes and does a big special and donates all the proceeds to some sort of like sexual
he does it
thing.
He does it, sells it on his website.
Yeah.
100% all the proceeds goes to whatever it might be. And he matches it.
Right.
He not only does he donate it, he matches it.
Right.
Does that fix anything? No. But it's a step in the right direction.
It will make a lot of people feel better as well.
You would, and then you address it in the special.
Right.
You don't need to be fake about it. You don't need, you just say, "Hey, look, man, like I'm trying."
Yeah.
I'm trying. You know, and who knows, maybe that's in the cards.
Yeah.
Maybe he for whatever reason he thought it wasn't going to blow up and it did.
Right.
I have no idea what his mental process is now. Maybe that is in the cards. But it's just
you can't do that nowadays with smartphones.
No, I know.
It's just impossible to fly under the radar like that.
The Comedy Cellar's so tiny that, you know, maybe he just and it's a weird club too. It'll go at like 2 a.m.
Right, but it's also something where you need to tell people, like, you know, if you don't want cell phones out, you got to make sure they don't bring.
No, I know. I'm just saying though, like, because I went 2 years ago when I was over in New York.
Right.
Like the Cellar's like literally the size of this area.
Yeah.
And you're like right next to someone, and it'll go until like 3 or 4 a.m. It's very interesting.
Well, they you can drink until 4 there.
So
that's part of it as well.
It's just, I don't know. It's a tough situation. I mean, I guess this is another Me Too podcast. We seem to only do podcasts on Me Too stuff because I know you wanted to talk about that actress.
Well, because I mean, it's we're the things we talk. We're involved in the film and television industry, so these are things that we're kind of a part of in a way, you know. We're pop culture media involved, so that's part of the reason why it's in the industry that we're a part of. But on the same note, you know, one of the faces of the Me Too movement is this Italian actress director named Asia Argento. Last week, this thing popped up that she paid off a former co-star of hers after they had
after she sucked his dick.
Well, and
she gave him $350,000.
She sucked his dick, and they had sex.
But as I was gonna write a tweet about this, and I couldn't because I was worried about James Gunn. But it's just like, fuck, if I was 17 and some hot ass Italian director wanted to suck my dick and pay me $350,000, I would have signed up for that shit immediately.
Right.
So for any hot Italian directors out there,
you're not 17 anymore.
I'm just saying the offer's still on the table. I'm just saying it's fine. Like, I'm completely okay with that.
But the problem, I'm like super conflicted with it. Like
you are, I'm not. Right, and what we're conflicted about is
you don't care
whether or not. No. The whole thing is people are saying that she should also have her career ruined.
Right.
Or people should be going after her in the Me Too movement. People should be talking shit about her because she's a hypocrite.
Right.
She's doing the same exact things that the men did. And explain why you're conflicted, and I'll explain why I'm not.
Here's the issue at hand. In the U.S., 39 of the 50 states has a consent age under the age of 18, 16 or 17 years old. So that's more than 50%. That's more.
Which means what exactly?
That means that the age that they're
harping on. So if you're 16 and there's a 50-year-old dude,
it's still legal.
As long as they both say yes.
As long as they both say yes. As long as they both consent. And in the right state. If the state's age, it's actually 32 states are 16. And then 7 states are 17. And then the rest of the states are 18. There's no federal law on it either. So it's just this weird area.
And what is it in Italy?
In Italy, where she's from and where she lives, it's 14. Now, we can go on this moral debate about, like, that's wrong, how, like, 50-year-olds shouldn't be sleeping with 14-year-olds, you know.
But if you grow up with the assumption that a 14-year-old is ready to have sex, and it happens, and you come to this country and you have sex with someone who's 3 years older than your conceived 3-year...
Yeah.
I mean, your age limit.
Right.
Is it is it bad?
Right. And it turns into, and for me, that's the biggest problem with this all. Like, if we want to have an issue with an older woman seducing a young man, that's fine. You could do, but I guess my biggest issue is like, we're getting to this area where it's a trivial number. It's a number that doesn't make sense. It's a number that no one can agree on. And she just happened to be in the wrong state. Because had it happened in New York, this wouldn't happen. There'd be no issue at all.
When you were 17, do you feel like you were in the right mindset to say yes or no to a
Fuck
woman?
yeah, I would have done that shit in a heartbeat.
No, I'm not saying whether or not you would have done it. I'm asking.
Like, should I have done it?
No, I'm asking, could you have said no as a man to a woman?
If she wasn't attractive, absolutely I could have said no.
But even if she was attractive, you would be conscious and aware of that, correct? Or do you feel like, nope, not at 17, 18? Oh, okay, now I know everything. Because that's pretty much what it is.
No, it's one of those things where, no, I wouldn't have been conscious
What do you
of it.
think? What do you think about instead of a, how do I say this? Like an age gap law. Where it's like,
see,
if you're within 10 years, it's...
I know people who went to prison when they were 19 for hooking up with 17-year-olds here in California. And that's stupid.
And I think it's dumb. I think that's dumb.
That's ridiculous. And I think there should be like an age gap thing. Like if you guys were in high school together at some point, then the age is trivial. That shouldn't matter. You guys you're part of the same generation, and then we're making up these laws.
But if you're 22 and it's a 12, 13-year-old...
That's a different story, exactly.
Because you were never in high school.
No.
You never shared any
common experience. And now
common
it's like
experience.
you're a young adult, and it's a child.
Because my thing is like...
And it's in different states. They have these laws. They have these laws where, like, if you're within, like, 3 or 4 years of each other, you won't get in trouble for it.
Because technically, if you're both under the consensual age, does that mean it doesn't? What does that mean?
Their parents, technically, it's illegal for minors to have sex with each other.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I lost my virginity way before I was 18.
It's this whole thing that it just doesn't make any sense. There's no real. It's just.
It's so weird to talk about it now. But when I was that old, I was 14 and the girl I hooked up with was 13, which is so fucking weird to say.
Right.
But in the time...
What's even weirder is that anyone, because I've seen your teenage pictures, would have let you do anything to them. We should throw a picture of your Eskimo woman-looking ass up on the
I didn't have
screen.
long hair at that point yet.
Who's the girl?
I'm not going to say,
Yeah.
but the...
No, you were her.
Oh. That's not funny. I mean, it kind of is funny. Like, if I were to go further and drop names, then it would be even funnier. But I can't. I don't want to do that. But yeah.
Oh, because she had a unisex name like Taylor or something like that.
No, it's even worse. I'll write it. I'll write it down.
Or Colby.
I'll write it down, but I won't. You can't say it.
I think I know what it is.
Figure it out, guys.
So, but yeah. So I actually did get those oh, is it your sister? Anyway. But the point is my thing about this woman in particular though is she should absolutely be scrutinized because I believe in fair treatment. Now, does that mean that what she did is the same as what Harvey Weinstein did? No, I'm not saying that. But James Gunn didn't do anything, and his whole fucking career got ruined.
Yeah.
Why should she be exempt to that? Why shouldn't? Because my thing is, the Me Too movement should absolutely go after this woman. And not because they want to destroy her life or whatever, but because it needs to be equal. That way you don't have anyone saying, oh, look, when it's one of your own, you guys don't have anything to say. If you just said, you know what, we denounce this, whatever, she's no longer going to be a part of our thing because of what she did. What are the people going to complain about? Because you can't play favorites if you're fair to everybody.
But the other thing that people are doing is trying to negate what happened to her. And is that all right?
What do you mean?
Okay?
What do you mean by negating?
Like, because she did this, they think that everything that she went through
No.
gets
Those are
erased,
separate issues.
and it doesn't happen.
Those are separate issues.
And I feel like people are like, The people that are most up in arms about this are not Me Too people.
She was still.
They're not people that are like against sexual crimes.
She was still whatever Harvey Weinstein did to her. I don't know the specifics. Still happened, and that's absolutely does not
she's
get
still
forgotten.
a victim.
It's 100%. But she's also not just a victim. She's also a perpetrator in doing this shit to a boy.
Right.
Because you can get into because if you're all about gender equality and all this shit, stick by your guns. That's my thing.
Okay, but what about the fact that if it happened in Nevada, just a state over, it would be a non-issue?
Then it wouldn't be a non-issue.
So, but don't you see?
But it's not a non-issue.
But don't you see that being a little different? Doesn't that change the scope of things?
And if
it's a technicality.
It is a technicality.
Yeah.
And just like with the Louis C.K. thing, if they accepted what it was and they moved on from it, is it our place to fucking judge about it? I don't know. I'm just saying, we got to go based on the law. And that is the law.
Well, I think
that's the law.
That also opens this opens up into
it should be uniform across the United States.
Like absolutely.
Period.
And I bring that up because
it's just like fucking drinking and voting.
I'm segueing this into what happened recently in Jacksonville, where at a Madden tournament of all tournaments, a guy shot up.
I'm not laughing at
shot
that.
up the crowd.
I'm laughing because one of my friends, when that happened, I was shout out to Brandon. He rages hard, like really hard. Like I've seen him fucking throw controllers and shit. Like that's how angry he gets. And I was like, at least you're not this guy, because like that. I mean, because what happened was apparently he lost, and he went back into his car or something like that, and came back and shot the people who beat him.
Now, do you think, for some reason, man, this just feels premeditated as shit? Like, how do you have a gun with you? Is he from Florida?
Well, we can both agree that he's a fucking sore loser.
Absolutely.
Like, that kid was bullied for being, like, I want to know.
It just, what shocked me the most was, like.
It was at a Madden tournament.
Yeah, well, Madden tournament won, and then, and people are already trying to use the video games are violent thing, which is.
In a non-violent fucking.
Yeah.
Good. You want to use that argument?
Yeah.
Fine. You want to do that? Go after the fucking NFL then, too.
Right.
Go after the NFL, because if Madden's violent, then that motherfucking means the NFL is violent. Right?
Yeah.
It goes hand. You can't say the video game's violent, but the sport's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. What you were saying?
Could you look up and see where the shooter's from? Because I want to know if he's from Florida. Like, did he go home and go get a gun and come back, or did he bring a gun with him? He's from out of state and he brought the gun with him. You know, which that kind of like tripped me out. Like, if he was from California and he had this, we have these weird gun laws that are across state. And, you know, say what you will about, you know, being for or against guns. I don't want to get into that. But I do feel like the big issue that we have.
This has nothing to do with fucking, even if it was.
Well,
what the fuck does this have to do with guns?
Well, because
he's from Maryland.
Because state to state, depending on what state you're in.
Maryland.
Like, for example, people like to use Chicago as gun control doesn't work there. But they can go over to Indiana, buy guns, and come back.
That's what I'm saying. What the even if guns were banned, it wouldn't have fucking stopped this.
No,
it's not like
right. I'm just saying it's just weird. Like we have these.
The whole
laws.
Situation sucks.
It's a fucking terrible situation. I mean,
over a video game.
Yeah,
And he killed himself.
Oh, he killed himself too?
I don't know why he didn't just fucking kill himself. That's it. Just kill himself.
I mean, it's a moment of rage.
You know what's fucking
moment of passion, and then he realized what he did, so he shot himself because he didn't.
What's annoying to me, and this is how pathetic this fucking piece of shit is. He died a loser.
Yeah.
Literally, the last match of Madden he ever played, he fucking lost. Instead of going back and busting a Rocky and be like, all right, bitch, I'll fucking see you next year. And I'll fucking kill you in a game next year. And fucking saying, fuck you, suck my dick. What up? Like, you can go off and fucking rub it in their face in a different way. He went and acted like a bitch.
And shot himself in the face afterwards.
And shot these for what?
I don't know, man. It's a crazy situation, and
I feel bad for his parents because
it's embarrassing. Now they got a scarlet letter in their neighborhood,
and it's fucking pathetic. I want to know how he was raised. I want to know if he was neglected. I want to know all that shit. I'm very curious to know.
Well, I want to know. Can you look up what the gun laws in Maryland are?
Yeah. It said like he was refusing to shake. You know how after they lose, like after the game they have like a handshake. He was acting weird at that point.
fucking white people.
And then he went to his car and then came
Crazy
back.
white people. Do you see what he looks like?
Yeah.
He looks like a shooter.
Looks like Dylan Roof.
He looks like a fucking shooter. He's fucking. It's just, fuck, man. It's just stupid. Like I wish he didn't kill himself, so everyone could just beat the fuck out of him. Like literally, like that shit pisses me off. Cause I'm a part of like two communities, like video game community and the filmmaking community. I fucking hate Madden. I hate Madden. But that's like, these two kids is like losing one of our own for me. Like fucking my gaming flag is at half-mast right now because of these two people who got killed for no reason.
Right.
Or 3 people, however many fucking people got killed.
2 people died plus him.
Well, fuck him. He fucking should burn. I hope they just fucking threw his body overboard like with Osama. It's just so fucking stupid. It's just so dumb. And over nothing. Over a video game.
It's a waste of life.
It is.
Like how, like you have no concern for
his mom should have swallowed.
Right.
That's what it was. His mom should have swallowed, fucking got an abortion,
or
all
taking
that.
it in the back door.
Everything. Because it's just, it literally, what, because how do the parents of those children gonna feel?
Right. No, it's you know what?
They might not even want him to go to the damn tournament.
Honestly, you know what I started thinking about more than anything now is like, do I have to have my head on a swivel now at Comic-Con? When is something like that gonna happen? Because at Comic-Con,
dude, I brought that up at Comic-Con.
Yeah, you did. And
I said, dude, this is like I'm like,
they
where
didn't
all
have
the
metal
exits?
detectors.
Where all the exits? Like,
Yeah.
this is a fucking haven for a bomb. You just blow this shit up, and then people will
or
just
a shooter.
Just anything. You just go in there and shoot in the air, and people will die as a result of being trampled because it's so fucking crowded.
Right.
So if you're listening to this CDCC,
SDCC CDCC is the
control.
Center for
Well,
Disease Control. Yeah.
the fucking Comic-Con is a disease, man. Dude, there's so many fucking obese people. I've never seen fucking so many. That's not what I'm talking about. But it's just, it's literally, it looks like a Walking Dead thing because there's just so many fucking people in there bumping into each other constantly. You just go in there and just fire a gun off into the ceiling. They're going to trample each other. You almost get trampled going in when the doors fucking open on day one.
Right.
Like literally, if you stop for 1 second, you're going to get trampled
Yeah.
on. And I don't even know if people are going to give a shit. It's fucking scary. But it's not even the head on the swivel thing. It's just like, now you're going to feel, if your son wants to go fucking play at a video game tournament, are you going to have to go now? Are you going to have to make sure, are there police there? Or whatever? Are you gonna
that's what's going to happen next.
Literally, it's like, I used to go to fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card tournaments when I was a kid, you know? But now what? So now you can't even do innocent shit? You can't even go, like, people can't go to school now because you got to get worried about getting shot. People can't go to the mall because they got to worry about getting shot.
It's insane that you got to start vetting people for these kind of things. Like, that's, you know, like, are people going to have to go through, like, background checks and psychological checks before they enter these tournaments?
Well,
I mean,
what are they doing at school?
PSN and their Xbox Live logs to see if they ever scream and rage quit.
I feel like you should go through mental evaluations at school.
Yeah.
You have a counselor.
But that's, freedom, man. Freedom.
No, it's part of the fucking curriculum.
Freedom.
If you have problems, we're going to help you out. Free. Healthcare. Reform healthcare.
But somebody's parents could be like, why are you doing this to my kid? My kid shouldn't have to go.
Because of fucking psychopaths. If your fucking kid's not a psychopath and you're a good parent, you're going to have shit to worry about. It's that simple. There needs to be, yes, we're in a free country. Absolutely. But now, other fucking free people,
ruin it for the rest of us.
Exactly.
And that's how society works.
And you got to fucking fix it. It's a problem. Is banning guns the issue? Is going to solve the issue, I mean. No. And I will fucking, if there's any ban on video, on guns, I will vote no 10 times out of 10. I believe in that fucking fundamental right. Every single time you start taking away things, and it is a slippery slope. Does that mean we need to have every fucking gun in the arsenal? No, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be armed.
Well, but there's also, like, should there be more thorough checks for
Absolutely.
you to get a gun? And I think
it needs to be like a driver's license.
And then
you need to be reevaluated.
But the NRA will be the first to be like, well, if you start
they're
doing
losing
that,
money. They might fucking be tanked. They might go under. The NRA might go under. This is what's been talking about. They might run out of money because people are finally starting to harp on the senators and all this shit, and they're pooling funding. And
right.
So, it's not about. I think the background checks are already in place. That's fine. But I think there should be inspections. I think you need to be able to go through a training exercise.
Did this guy drive or fly too? I'm just making.
He was driving.
That's okay.
It
It's
does
just,
say that he was prescribed antipsychotic medicine.
and that's the other thing. It's like fucking, dude. So when I got in my accident, the one thing I was like, fuck, if I go to a doctor, they're gonna be like, here's fucking some Xanax, here's some fucking whatever, because I've been stressing out, and they're gonna say, oh, and it's just like, oh, what? So I can get more hopped up on shit, so I can get addicted to things. Like,
right.
it might help temporarily, but it's not solving the issue.
It's just putting a Band-Aid on the situation. Yeah.
It's just fucking tough. That's all. It's this one should be black and white, but you have people defending both sides. It's not even about
well,
that.
At the end of the day, like, you shouldn't be blaming video games for this at all. That's the most ridiculous argument that anyone could have, and I don't want to. It's stupid, and I think that people that anytime they ever use that argument, it's ridiculous. We've been watching violent movies. People have been watching boxing for years now. Football's a violent sport, so on and so forth. Hockey,
humans,
movies.
Humans fight each other.
Yeah, it's just.
I didn't grow up with siblings, but my fucking cousins who were the same age, they would fight all the time.
Beat the shit out of each other.
They would beat the shit out of me, and I'd hate it.
Yeah.
But that's just how it was.
So
that's
you're a
just
pussy.
Yeah, because I wouldn't know how to fight back.
Right.
And when I
Still
try to,
doesn't know how to fight
I
back.
try to fight back, they just hold my fucking arms down on the ground.
They gang up on you.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was miserable. But that's just how growing up is, man.
Right.
Now people could
And
say.
not once did you think about going to your cousin's house and shooting up the place.
No, never. I fucking hate guns.
Because you totally have that face.
What, did I want to shoot them?
You have a mass shooter face.
No, that
Let's
is.
take a poll in the comments. Does Daniel have a mass shooter face?
I have a Virginia Tech face because that guy was Asian as fuck.
And you're Mexican.
Anyways, you mentioned having your gamer flag at half-mast.
Rip.
So John McCain passed away last week,
Rip.
and the White House had the flag at half-mast
For like 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then they put it right
I
back
guess
up.
it's 2 days, and then he put it right back up. And it, like...
But they brought it back down because the American Legion of Veterans was like, we fucking strongly suggest that you put this fucking veteran who retired a captain in the Army, was a POW, all this shit to do it, and that's when the White House did it. And he was a senator for 30 years.
Obviously, Donald Trump's not happy about that. And in McCain's...
he said Trump can't go to the funeral.
Yeah, he explicitly said he did not want Trump at his funeral.
He specifically said, Trump, you're not...
He had, in his later years, he criticized... He was one of the only Republicans outwardly criticizing Donald Trump and his election.
An older Republican, too, at
Yeah.
that. I can kind of see how a younger Republican might have differences because they want to appeal to the younger base. But John McCain's a veteran.
Right.
He ran for president, lost, so he's a loser, as Trump would say. Not by me, I'm just saying. Well, no, he didn't call him a loser. He called him... He didn't call him anything, but he said he's not a real
hero because
that's
he got
what I meant.
caught.
Yeah. Which is fucking stupid.
5 years.
But it was like, fucking... What do people... Because the thing that's been coming out is, like, people have been asking, like, what did you comment on McCain? He hasn't said anything. Like, he gave his condolences to the McCain family, but never, like...
Through Twitter.
Yeah. And, I wasn't surprised. When John McCain died, when Apple gave me the notification, the very first thing that I did was go to Trump's Twitter. I didn't go read an article about it. I didn't do anything. I went straight to his Twitter, and that's a fact. And the reason why I did it, and it was I wanted to know if he was going to let bygones be bygones and just say, okay, the man's dead now. Whatever beef we had, it was the past.
Right.
This is a senator.
And
he served our country.
This is the first time where he didn't take a shot.
And he didn't do anything.
No.
He said the condolences to the family.
Right.
And now when reporters are asking him, he's being silent.
Right.
And that's just like, I'm not surprised, but the fucking thing is, it's just like, what do you expect? Just ignore him.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Just fucking ignore him. Don't reelect him. You don't like it, don't reelect him. I don't know.
Well, there's still people that are strongly in his camp, man. That's the funny part, that he cannot do any wrong, no matter how, like right now, every day, another person that he's involved in his campaign that's a part of his cabinet or his party is guilty of something, getting arrested. They're just falling and nothing sticks to him. They still can't pin anything on him. Interestingly enough, but I don't know, man. This is going to be an interesting, the next.
I hope it gets worse.
Election.
I really do.
Really?
Yeah.
You want the Bill Maher effect?
No. I don't mean the economy. I mean, I hope that they fucking catch him in something. I hope something dirty happens some backdoor dealings that get exposed to where it's like red-handed. I hope they find the smoking gun is what I'm saying.
Shit,
I'm not saying I hope the economy goes to shit.
Well, he's got his son taking the blame for shit now. He's just throwing everyone under the bus.
Because it's easy for him to just say, pardon.
Plausible deniability, man.
Presidential pardon. Yep. If you take the fall for me, don't worry, I got your back. I will pardon you.
Crooked as
and there's
shit,
nothing
man.
anyone can do about it because that's my executive power. That's the thing. And it is. It's some House of Cards shit.
He's got the Supreme Court in his pocket now too.
There's that's why I'm saying I don't hope it gets worse in terms of the economy and all that stuff. I just hope it gets worse in regards to like the stuff that comes out about him.
What if all this stuff does come out and people still vote him? Vote him in.
Hey man, Rome fell. Maybe it's our time. I don't know.
The thought has crossed my mind. Well,
I still don't think it will, but
let's
Cal exit.
Let's wrap this up real quick with the funny, a more heartwarming story here. So someone in Toronto is opening up a sex doll brothel.
I guess that's funny.
You don't think that's funny? That's
no,
not funny?
I think that's weird, but hey man, to each their own.
Who wants to know when it's opening?
Yeah. Where is it?
You
Toronto?
want to be in Toronto. You want to be there for
when
the
is
grand
the guest
opening.
list open?
I mean, what?
There's the waiting list.
Yeah, when's the...
Maybe I'm more upset that I didn't think of this myself. I don't know. Like, there's no labor laws that you're violating with this stuff.
in Toronto. Doesn't mean there's one in L.A. Still could be a first.
Fair enough, but, man...
Why not?
That's one of those things where I kind of want to go hang out outside just to see the type of people that are going in and using it.
They'll come in with they'll come in with the hoods on and shit.
Or trench coats. Maybe the trench coat will make a comeback, you know?
I don't know. I don't think that's funny. I think, fuck it, man. Who cares? And not in a sense of like, I don't care, so whatever. But like, it's just, why not?
Like, you're so, like, over human contact that you're not even going to a prostitute now. You're going to a doll.
Why shouldn't they have a place to hang out?
And who thought about that? That's the best part. Like, how do you come up with that idea?
Why are you kink shaming?
Well, provided they sanitize the shit out of the doll after somebody uses it, you can raw dog it. You know, like what kind of sanitation process would
maybe
you have
they've
to
developed.
go through?
Maybe they've
They
developed
just like dump a whole bottle of Purell in every hole.
Maybe they've developed some technology. Like, you know when you go to the doctors and they have that white sheet that they pull out and lay out like for every guest, and then when you're done they rip it off and put another one on. Maybe they have like a vagina, like a doll vagina that they can like take out, throw away, insert a new one.
Okay, before Carlos, look up the prices of sex dolls. Because I don't even know if these are like the robot ones. Are those even out yet?
Yeah, it's like the more. I saw the article too. It's more like the newer ones. Like, you know, they actually.
Well, what's the price on those? I'm wondering. Like, how much to look up?
Well, if I'm gonna go to a fucking sex doll brothel, I want top of the line technology shit.
Right.
I want
some. I'm saying, like, if there's.
I don't want a blow up doll.
Like, if it's like yeah, but then there's those latex ones that they mold after porn stars and stuff. And what if it costs like $80?
I want
what do you charge?
Fuck a wax museum doll.
If you owned this brothel, what would you charge?
Whatever I want.
I guess you could charge by the hour.
Well, duh, you're gonna charge by the hour because that shit ain't. People aren't lasting that long.
Right.
30 minutes, 30-minute windows. Like, treat it like a massage.
Okay, so how much would you treat for half an hour?
I don't know. Depends on how much. Depends on what the demand is.
Right.
You fucking,
let's say you're averaging 6 patrons a half an hour.
Well, assuming I had, okay, I'll go along with this scenario. Assuming I had top of the line sex dolls, the best.
How much do they cost?
Like $2,000, like
$2,000. Okay, so the best. I mean the best. The best of the best. Whatever the best is. Let's even people made specific ones for me, right? Maybe they move and shit.
How much would you pay your jizz mopper?
Oh, that's a separate question. Let's because that could easily be a minimum wage job. But let's not here. That's neither here nor there. If I cost $2,000 to say I have like 10 rooms or 5 rooms, so I spent $10,000, right? And there's a waiting room and all that shit.
And your lease is $2,500 a month.
So let's throw that out there. I'll probably charge at least $200 for 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
That's a little steep.
Yeah, okay, but if they say, you know what, that's too much, you can drop it down. I think for massage prices are accurate. If you're that desperate to fuck a doll,
Are you talking about a real massage parlor, or are you talking about the Shack?
I've never been to one of those, so I
Okay.
don't know what those are. I'm talking about like, fucking, $150 for a massage.
Which one is that?
That's like some Berkshire Williams. Is it like something?
Yeah, that's where my chiropractor said.
Now this is on my search history.
But I'm just saying, it's just fucking. It's just, why not? If you live in another country and you're like, oh my god, did you hear? They're opening up a sex doll shop in Toronto.
So
we gotta go.
Okay,
And the people are willing to go on this pilgrimage.
Okay.
They're willing to go to the mecca of sex doll places.
let me ask you.
You're gonna tell me they're not gonna want to spend $200 to fuck one of these dolls that are state of the art?
Would you consider going to one of these things just to say that you did?
I wouldn't pay for it.
So you'd fuck a sex doll,
With the voucher.
but you wouldn't pay for one at a sex doll. They got a
The
Groupon
voucher program?
They got a Groupon. They got a Groupon for it for that or Gold Star for that weekend.
Why not?
Only select dolls.
Why not?
It's
If you
kind of
get
like it's like a fleshlight. Would you ever use a fleshlight?
Yeah, absolutely.
What if that was an option on the menu? Like if you didn't want to do the doll, but they had fleshlights, would you like rent a
No, that wouldn't
fleshlight?
be worth it. No, I'd want to go
What
fuck
if you're
the doll.
What if you work like right around the corner and you just want to?
If I was in Toronto,
and you worked around the
And
you work in the office and it's like your lunch break and you really feel like you need to loosen
I'd
up.
have to.
Would
I'd
you
have
stop by?
No, I would do it. I would have to do it as like a. I'd have to gain something from it. Like if I knew I could make a video out of it, not a porn, but share my experiences and like put it on YouTube or something, like make a travel channel type thing for this
Some
place.
content.
Then yeah, I would for sure. I wouldn't willingly go on my own. No, I wouldn't. I mean that 100%.
All right.
But if it were for something like that, or someone was like, hey man, we listen to this podcast and we see that you're interested, like
Right.
we'd like for you to come do advertising for us. We'll pay for full trip, whatever. We're not gonna pay you to fuck the doll, but we'll pay for your full expenses and you can like stay here, blah blah blah.
So
Fuck yeah, sign me up.
So like the $1 Million Man, everybody has a price.
What if it was super hot?
What do you mean super hot?
The doll.
Then it would be then I would enjoy myself. What do you mean if it was super hot? Are you enticing me? Like what? Was that supposed to be like? What if it's hot? Oh no, it's hot. What the fuck?
It changes your mind.
I'm just saying.
I mean, you're gonna feel weird after you do it.
Absolutely
You
not.
know, are you gonna like
Absolutely
when you're
not.
done? Are you gonna look the doll in the eyes? Or are you gonna like turn your head and kind of walk away?
Why wouldn't you just
Shame.
Why wouldn't you just go with it?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I guess I don't see the big deal. If women can have sex toys, why the fuck can't guys fuck dolls?
Well, I don't think women are going to a specific place to use said sex toys.
Well, hey,
I mean, maybe
maybe
they
you
get
can make it in the. Maybe you can make that.
Maybe they get a nice hotel room with like a.
Maybe you
jacuzzi
can make
suite
this
and
Write
place.
that down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Make one for
Maybe
women.
maybe the LA spot could be a co-ed joint where you have sex dolls and sex toy lounge for the women, or
like one of those,
or dudes, sex doll
like one of those
dudes.
drills with the dildos.
I'm
on
just saying, why not? Which is ironic because the irony of it is if you have a male and a female both going to a place to fuck inanimate objects, you would think that they'd want to fuck each other.
It's a control issue,
No,
though,
but-
man.
No,
It's
I
a
know.
control issue.
Look, I'm just saying.
I feel like they already have this stuff in Japan. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't already have these kind of
well,
things.
no, because they use octopuses and
Japan.
stuff.
No, they do.
They-
I read the article about this.
So somebody ripped it off in Japanese already. The idea it's like already in the ether.
Well, maybe that's why no one
They've
wants to
proven
get
the
married and
concept.
have kids in Japan because they
Right.
just have so many good sex dolls there.
Right.
So maybe we need to send sex dolls to China and other fucking places in LA. Maybe we should open this place because there's too many fucking Mexicans here. There's too many fucking everybody here. You start having more sex dolls, maybe the population goes
Less
down.
people.
Maybe the 405 isn't as fucking crowded. Maybe that's the solution. I don't know. You're giving me a look like I just said something incredibly offensive.
No.
About that time.
Brilliant. But anyways, that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave comments. Hopefully this is on iTunes and SoundCloud so we can finally get that.
It is because it's been being live edited, so I don't
Those
have to edit.
15 people are back on.
They probably unsubscribed. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they died. So.
Yeah,
Rip.
never doing this again. But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.